everyone, my name is Jen Wyatt. Some of you guys have been following me for a while, and if you have never been introduced to me, I am a productivity coach and I help women primarily prioritize, simplify, and organize all the things in your life so you can get more done, so you can reach your goals, so you can be who you were meant to be. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is something that I hear a lot is I've tried everything. I've tried it all and nothing sticks. And it's that feeling that you get when you read all the books and you go to all the programs and you attend webinars and you download free things and you get really excited, and I know this because I've done this myself. You get really excited, and then about 2 weeks into implementing it or trying it, it starts to not work. I felt frustrated, overwhelmed, feeling like I just couldn't get it, like I couldn't really achieve whatever program or book that I set out to do, and it's very defeating. And when I hear people say that, my heart breaks because I know what it's like to have been in that spot. So, and I've mentioned it before, I have so many planners and so many books on time management, on every flavor of time management. If you ask me about a book and you can in the comment, I can let you know I pretty much have it, because I, at one point, was at such a consumption stage that I wanted to change and I wanted to grow, and I thought this will be it. This is going to be the thing. This is going to be the thing that helps move me forward and push me to the next level. And so one of the things that I have created, and I talked about it a few days ago, is this worksheet. It's a short 3-page mini workbook is what I'm calling it. And basically it's 3 simple questions to get you started thinking around this process of what you want your life to look like. Because part of the problem that we have when we try all these things is that we're trying someone else's program. We're trying someone else's way of doing something. And oftentimes it maybe doesn't quite work for us. And instead of seeing that side of it, we just get frustrated and think, I can't do this. I just spent all this money. I must not be good at this time management thing. And like I stated last week, time management, I don't believe is really a thing, because you can't manage time, but you can manage yourself. And that's a lot of what I coach, is kind of understanding where you're at and working towards that goal. I've actually had my greatest growth working with a coach one-on-one, because I would always put these, I'll just read a book and I'll figure it out on my own. And then I go through the cycle that I just talked about, right? And I end up frustrated. So it's really good sometimes if you are feeling stuck in that area, that you get out of your comfort zone and start working with somebody to hold you accountable, to walk you through all the things and help you get off that merry-go-round. Because that's what this has actually done for me, is this download that I created helped get me off of that merry-go-round, because I was super serious about growing and changing and getting my life under control so I could achieve my goals. And actually in the emails that come with the download, I share that story more in depth. But I want you to know that it's possible to get off the merry-go-round. I've gotten off the merry-go-round cycle of consuming and learning and then feeling overwhelmed. It's totally possible to get off of that merry-go-round and to actually start walking out and achieving your goals in a more simplified way, in a more, it's uncomplicated. We overcomplicate things, or at least I have. If you haven't, that's amazing. I totally have overcomplicated things, and it can be painful. So let's just dive into the content a little bit. I wanted to talk about the things that I know my clients have tried and I have personally tried when it comes to the things that we try to do in order to move the dial on our productivity, on our time management, to get things done, to plan. So this is number one. Attempting to look at my schedule the Friday before. Now, this is actually something that I coach about looking ahead at your coming week and making sure that you have the space for it. But sometimes when we look ahead and we pick out, okay, this is Friday and I feel good about next week. I'm picking my 3 top goals, and then I'm going to schedule out my various tasks. And again, like I said, it's something that I actually coach, that I walk people through. But why it didn't work for me initially, and why it doesn't work for some of my clients, is that you spend a lot of time and energy creating the plan. Like, I love to plan, and I love to spend time planning. I love to help people plan things out. It's just a passion of mine. But we can spend so much time planning, and we can rely so much on the plan that we've created and go, okay, phew, I got that, I planned it out, everything is perfect, everything is awesome. And then come Monday, I didn't follow through on anything. I may have looked at it and went, yeah, well, now it's Monday, now it's Tuesday, things didn't quite go the way that I planned, so there's no point following through. Or, all those thoughts that we have. I mean, share with me if you've had this happen to you and what your thoughts were, because I'm curious. Because for me, it was more of, I put so much energy and thought and passion into the planning part that I thought the planning, that passion of the planning would carry me through. And really, it's the work comes when we actually have to do it, right? When you do the work. And a lot of times we don't follow through because we're missing that motivation, or, well, I planned it, so it must be done kind of thinking. Number 2 is trying to create a generic task list and then checking the things off as you complete them. Now, this does work well if you're trying to change a habit, as long as you only have a few habits you're trying to change and you can really focus on it. I do this for my water consumption, my running, my workout, some of the tasks that I do on a daily basis, I do use this. But why it didn't work for me when I was really struggling with gaining control of my time was a lack of commitment. I truly set up the list. It's just like the planning that I explained to you. I set it up and went, this is great. If I do all these things, I'll be amazing, and I'll feel like I'm on top of the world and I would be able to get all this done. But if I set it and then forget it, it's that the list exists somewhere, but I'm not taking the action. I'm not committing to doing that day by day and actually walking out the work. Again, it's very similar to planning, but it's a tool that I teach sometimes. But I truly know that it doesn't work all the time, because again, set it, forget it, the tasks are not going to do themselves. And sometimes, to be totally honest, I feel when I have this list of things that I do all the time, yeah, I want to develop habits, and I want to have habits that lead to goals and a good and healthy life and a productive life is filled with really good routines and habits. But sometimes when we create that dry list, and then it can feel like a prison sentence, like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things over again. And that can really just suck the fun out of achieving it. It can make it feel heavy. It can make it feel like you have to do it instead of you want to do it or you get to do it. Sorry, my dog is over there chewing on something. So number 3, setting reminders. Again, a great practice if it works for you, but it doesn't always work. And why it didn't work for me is that I had no real true accountability. I could easily click on stop. I can ignore it. I could just complete. I actually had one client that told me, yeah, I created this checklist, and at the end of the day, I don't like to see it read, so whether I've done it or not, I just check it off. And there's no accountability there. It just becomes another thing that you do, another thing that you check off. But it's not about the list. It's not about the plan. It's not about the steps and making sure that you understand why you're doing it. It's about, at the end of the day, it's about doing the work. It's about getting it done. It's about making sure that we're doing the things that we need to do to get where we want to go. And if we're setting reminders and ignoring it, then we're really, again, it's planning to plan, not planning to achieve, or planning to get it done. But why do we do this? So this is something I think about a lot, because I have completely created the perfect plan and the perfect ideal week and then completely sabotaged it because of all these things. So why do we do this? I believe that we really want to change. Otherwise, we wouldn't be spending time and energy seeking out ways to help us change. But oftentimes those processes, those systems that are created aren't clearly tied to the way that we want to live. And it's not about like, oh, well, you know, I really don't want to do this. So if I don't really want to do this, then, you know, that's the way that I want to live. Though hi Cheryl, thanks for joining me. It's about looking at how you want your life to be. And I talk about this a lot, so I'm sure I sound like a broken record, but it's a passion point for me. Because when I sat down and said, I don't like what my life looks like right now, I don't like the chaos that I feel, I don't like the fact I'm not getting the right things done, and I feel busy all the time. And I looked at how I really wanted to live my life, and how the peace and the joy and the homemade meals on the table, and it's not about killing myself. Oh, my dog is out of control. It's not about all those things. It's about looking at how we really truly want to live. What makes us happy? What makes us shine? What creates the family environment that you want? And it's different for everybody. How I want to live my life and have my family around me and the things that we do is completely different than how I was raised. It's completely different how my best friend lives her life. It's completely different because we all have different things we're passionate about, and we all have different things that we want to show up in our life. And so really that's what managing our time well and doing all the things and getting the right things done means to me. It's because I'm always walking towards that central goal. I'm always walking towards not living in perfectionism, but having the life that truly makes me happy and makes me productive, so I have more to give back. I spend a lot of time volunteering because I have the space in my day to get all the things done that I need to get done and take care of my family and give back to the community. One of my big goals is to start a nonprofit, and that comes out of that, because without that structure, without that commitment, and without that accountability to get the things done that I need to do in order to grow and be that person that can run a community, outreach nonprofit, I feel I'm getting really passionate. I'm losing my train of thought here, but do you see what I'm saying? It's just, that's the framework that I have created. That's the framework that I built my life on because of that piece, because it's important to me, and that's a long-term goal. And long-term goals always start with, what are we going to do today to walk towards that goal? So back to the free download. If you haven't downloaded it, it's called, I forget what it's called. Take Back Your Time. Sorry. And it really is a mini workbook. It's 3 pages. Most of it's journaling exercises looking around those things that are important to us, and that can help us, walk towards that life that we want to live, and walk towards that, again, not a perfect day. A perfect day for me is actually today, because every day I actually write in my planner what success looks like for me. And that's actually one of the things I talk about in the workbook. Not for me, but what it looks like for you. And it's important for me to have that success statement every single day, because I tend to be kind of a workaholic. I really like to work and I like to get things done, and I push myself really hard. But if I have a list of 20 things, I identify what the most important things are, and then I write a success statement. Like part of my success statement today is my son is actually visiting for the summer, and he's here, and just spending time with him is in my success statement today, because that makes me happy, and because I've gotten all the things done, and I've organized all the things, and I have time blocked and done all these things, I can actually achieve that. I can fit that into my schedule without feeling stressed, without feeling overwhelmed. I can feel like I can come on and be consistent with my Facebook Live, because I've created that space, and because it's just part of the way that I think. And again, in the email that I send out after the download, I talk about my story. I've shared my story before, but I really go more in depth into what I was feeling, what I was thinking, and where I was at right before I created my business, because I really wanted to crack the nut. I really wanted to open up myself to the possibilities that I could be organized, that I could get all these things done, and that I didn't have to feel busy and stressed and like I had to do all these things. So if you haven't downloaded it yet, check it out. I do have it in the description, a link to that. And believe me, these are the action steps that I started out. I have these in my journals from years ago, and I hope that it will help you too. And if not, if you have any questions around anything that's in the workbooks or anything that I've said today, please post in the comments. I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I hope you have a great and productive day. Bye.